Good afternoon, RollerCon. We are just under 2 minutes away from the beginning of MexiCANs versus Yellow Fever. Teams look like they're pretty much ready. Officials are just getting the last things set up that they need to do, and we will be underway in and a half. I'd like to go down the rosters right now. Wearing black, 005, Cinco de Mayhem, 039, the kind of heat. I got it. Number 1, Link Bingo, 100, Quiet Riot, 1030, Halloween, 1031, Whiskey Von Sweets, 138, Hearst, 1410, La Mujer Wonderlina, 143, Hybrid Walker, 93, Brash Knuckles, number 30, Alex Storm, 313, Lola Chola, number 36, Slamel Anderson, 369, Spider Monk, number 43, Jax, number 5, Villain, 525, Effie Bomber, 721, El Limon, 78, Boost, and 826, Metallica Breath. That is your MexiCANs team. Wearing yellow is your Yellow Fever bench, starting with number 03, Pack a Punch, 04, Deja Brews, 110, Let's Be Honest, 112, Luna, 12, Maximum Overdrive, 137, D-Ray, 175, C'est La Vie, number 21, Bettin' Poppin', 22, Ricardo, 3271, D-Bear, 333, Sweet and Sour, 495, Boulder, number 5, T, Rebel Maker, 5050, it's Demi, number 6, Bam, 72, Hot Rod Jane, 77, Soldier, number 8, Maxine, number 80, Latex Based Expectations, that's a great name, and number 808, Godzilla Rex. That is your Yellow Fever team. First whistle is go. We are underway. Number 30, Alex Storm for the MexiCANs. And that's number 137, D-Ray, lead jammer for Yellow Fever in our first jam of the game. Both jammers approaching the pack in turn 4. See what we're going to do with this. D-Ray gets knocked to the outside, recycled back, meeting up with some stiff resistance. Up there by the pivot line, manages to break free. Both jammers out now. 4 points on the board for each team. Pack setting up in the 2-3 straightaway. MexiCANs jammer number 30 through 4 more points, but D-Ray hot on his heels. Finds some space on the inside of turn 4, through again, 4 more points. That's 8-8. We're going point for point on this one. Alex Storm in the pack, in between the pivot and jammer line, gets knocked to the infield. Pivot goes down, back in he goes. 4 more points on the board for MexiCAN. Once again, D-Ray out right behind. 12-11 must have had a no pass, no penalty during that one. That is unfortunate, but it does happen. Good on the jammer referees for catching that and getting the score right. Just about 30 seconds left in the first jam. Looks like both teams are just going to let this one run. Working on the clock. Nice little apex jump there by Alex Storm. Oh no. Jammer referee says he didn't land it. Cutting the track, headed to the penalty box. Power jam for the next 15 seconds for Yellow Fever, and a power jam to begin the next jam. Hop, skip, jump, down, call off. 4 more points on the board, bringing our first jam score to 24-18 in favor of Yellow Fever. Yellow Fever starting on a power jam with number 12, Maximum Overdrive, wearing the star. Amazon pack setup up at the pivot line. Full packs for both. Only the jammer in the penalty box. Tweet, tweet goes the jam ref. Lead jammer to Yellow Fever. Alex Storm now being released from the penalty box, going to join up with the pack in the 1-2 apex. Speaking of apexes, he just hopped over it to complete his initial trip. Now coming around on a scoring pass. Let's see what Maximum Overdrive is going to do. Going to call it off. Did they get it on time? I don't think so. Nice job by Yellow Fever calling that off. 1 point on the board for them, but Alex Storm coming out of the penalty box. 2 apex jumps. Picks up 2 points for his trouble. 25-20 our score. Looks like 0-4 wearing the star for Yellow Fever. That's Deja Bruise. Number 525 with the star for the MexiCANs, but it's Deja Bruise out first. Yellow Fever lead jammer again. 525 Effie Bomber, the jammer for MexiCANs, out also about 30-40 feet back. Pack moving slowly up the 2 straightaway, dropping into the corner here. Going to try to make some room. Oh, Deja Bruise takes a spill, calls it off from the ground down here in the 3-4 apex. Picking up 2 points for trouble, 27-20. Favor of Yellow Fever. Wearing the star for Yellow Fever is number 22. That is Tricky Ricardo. Also on the track for MexiCANs wearing the star, 369 Spider Monk. Spider Monk got recycled to the back there, giving a chance for Yellow Fever to get out. Yellow Fever, I think, if I remember correctly, now has had lead in every jam in this game so far. Now, that's only 4 jams, but still an impressive statistic. Both jammers on a scoring trip now. Oh! Ricky Ricardo went for the apex jump, but he met up with El Limon, who knocked him to the infield. Nice effort by both jammers there, both picking up points. 3 points for Yellow Fever, 1 point for MexiCANs. 30-21 now, our score, just about 5 minutes gone and a half. Number 30, Alex Storm wearing the star for MexiCANs out. And I believe, like I said, this is first lead jammer for MexiCANs. But also out of the pack, 137, D-Ray jamming for Yellow Fever. Pack set up in the 1-2 apex, going to recycle Alex Storm back to the pivot line. He's back in the pack now. D-Ray scoring, running through, both jammers popping out the front at the same time, just outside turn 2. Four apiece for the jammers as they hit it over here. Alex Storm knocked out of bounds. D-Ray at the back of the pack. Looks like 2 points for Alex Storm, 1 for D-Ray. 5-7 jam, 35-28 score. I'd like to thank Roller Bones and Bones Bearings. Roller Bones wheels and Bones Bearings make for a winning combination. Out first is Pink Flamingo, number 1 for MexiCANs. That's 2 jams in a row for MexiCANs. Lead jammer. Yellow Fever does have 2 players in the penalty box. Looks like we had a star pass for Yellow Fever to the pivot, number 21. That's Bettin' Poppin'. Got the star on now. Not quite enough to get in there and get some points. MexiCANs picks up 4, trimming the lead down to 3, 35-32 to score. I'd like to thank the Rydell Skates family for being here. Support and RollerCon. Shout out to Rydell Skates and its family of brands, proud sponsor of RollerCon 2025. Effie Bomber wearing the star for MexiCANs again. And that's 04 Deja Brews on the track, wearing the star for Yellow Fever. Effie Bomber out first. MexiCANs heard what I said. Now they're like, all right, we're just going to get lead every time now, too. That's 3 jams in a row to help out that score. It's tied at 35. All right, whistles going everywhere. A little bit of a pile up over between the jammer line and the pivot line. Looks like we're going to have a power jam for Yellow Fever as Effie Bombers heading to the penalty box. Got one MexiCANs blocker in the box also, so pack advantage for Yellow Fever as well as the power jam. Deja Brews now finally through on the initial trip. Can come around and score, but Deja Brews on her feet in the penalty box and full packs back on the track. Pack set up in the 1-2 apex, waiting for both jammers to come in. Both jammers hit the pack at the same time. Deja Brews recycled back to the pivot line. Pack's going to spread out a little bit. Big pile up over here on the outside of turn 2. Deja Brews going down, popping back up, looking for a possible star pass, but the pivot goes down as well, so no luck there. This MexiCANs wall is really doing some great blocking over here in the straightaway. Deja Brews doesn't really have anywhere to go, but same can be said for Effie Bomber having some trouble with the Yellow Fever blockers over here too. Just now escaping down here in turn 3, adding 4 more points to MexiCANs score. Jam's going to end. 4 more points going up for Yellow Fever. 39-43, MexiCANs in the lead now. Number 369 wearing the star for MexiCANs. And that's number 22, where Tricky Ricardo with the star for Yellow Fever. Got one MexiCANs blocker in the penalty box, 4-3 pack advantage for Yellow Fever, and they use it. Lead jammer, Yellow Fever. Spider Monk out of the pack now too, about half a track behind. Pack speeding up, coming out of turn 2, going to drop. Need a little bit, set up, try to catch Tricky. Spins, watching Spider Monk. Call off 3 points on the board for Yellow Fever. Nice work there by Tricky Ricardo. All right, looks like I'm switching microphones. Just lost that one. Anyway, 1 point now separates both these teams. 42-43 the score. Just under 19 minutes left on the clock. Big tangle of skaters over here in the straightaway between the jammer and pivot line. Both jammers been knocked out, recycled. Jammer referee looking for signals from the OPR. Looks like MexiCANs going to come out on top of this one. That's Alex Storm again, lead jammer. Star pass for Yellow Fever. Pivot picking it up. That's 495 Boulder taking the star, but looks like he's going to get an opportunity to throw some points up on the board, maybe change the tide for Yellow Fever. You got Alex Storm cooling his heels in the penalty box. Pack sliding back and forth here in the straightaway just outside turn 2. Boulder getting knocked back, taken all the way back up to the apex. Seen some really strong blocking from both teams in this game, this jam especially. They haven't moved very far. finds a hole on the inside of turn 2. Out he goes. 4 more points on the board for Yellow Fever. Alex Storm out of the penalty box, laying in some big hits, trying to catch up here out of the pack down in the 3-4 apex. 4 on the board now, also for MexiCANs. Both jammers in the pack back in turn 3 again. Pack spreads out a little bit as Boulder getting drawn back up into the straightaway. Alex Storm breaking through blockers on the inside line. Out again, 4 more points on the board for MexiCANs. 4-8 on the jam. Alex Storm knocked out by Let's Be Honest. Nice block there. Getting drawn back by their teammate. And jam is going to end. Let's wait for the jam refs. Man, strong work by both jammers in that jam. 9-8 on the jam. Score now 50-52. Gotta love a tight game. Almost halfway gone in the first period. RollerCon would like to remind you all, please hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Matter of fact, get those water bottles out. Get some water in you. Quickly jammer by MexiCANs. That is number 1, Pink Flamingo, but out quickly behind D-Ray, number 137. 1 MexiCANs blocker in the penalty box, but quick call off. 3 points up for MexiCANs. That's going to go 50-55 on the score. All right, 4-3 pack advantage for Yellow Fever. 5-2-5 the jammer. Effie Bomber for MexiCANs, but it's Yellow Fever out first. That's number 110, Let's Be Honest. Blocking just a jam ago, and now out here with the star as well. Gonna play it safe, call off the jam there in turn 2. We're gonna go 0-0 on that one. Score remains 50-55. Tricky Ricardo back out with the star for Yellow Fever. And that's 005, Cinco de Mayhem wearing the star. I think that's the first time we've seen them out on the track. Yellow Fever picking up lead fairly quickly. Cinco de Mayhem getting recycled on the infield all the way back around to turn 3. Getting some trouble here from the pivot, number 333. That's Sweet and Sour. Better up to the waiting Yellow Fever blockers there at the pivot line. But Tricky Ricardo managed to sneak out of there. 4 more points for Yellow Fever. And there it is. Lead change again. We get a star pass. Really nice blocking there. That's 333 again. That's Sweet and Sour just doing work for her team right now. Tricky Ricardo sliding through. 4 more points on the board for Yellow Fever. All right, star pass complete for MexiCANs. Number 721, El Limon taking the star. Tricky Ricardo flying through there on the 1-2 apex. Gets sent flying. Jam is off. 66-55, 16-point jam for Tricky Ricardo. Nice work out there, sir. Number 495, Boulder wearing the star for Yellow Fever. Knocked to the infield, recycled back behind the jammer line. Back at it now. Jammer out of the pack for MexiCANs lead jammer. That is Spider Monk, 369. Boulder out of the pack with the helmet cover in his hand. Spider Monk coming around there. They're hanging out together. Let's see if they're going to mix it up. Just let each other skate. Into the pack here in the 2-3 straightaway. Spider Monk spins to the outside, gets knocked out of bounds, going to call it off on 1 foot. 4-2 jam favor the MexiCANs, but Yellow Fever still in the lead, 68-62. I want to thank TSG helmets and pads. TSG, protective gear that constantly raises the bar in terms of style, comfort, design, technology, and above all, safety. Check out TSG helmets and pads. Jam 14 on, and looks like we're going to be having a power jam for the MexiCANs. This is going to help them flip the scoreboard in their favor. All right, we're going the full 2 minutes on this. There is no lead jammer. We have one in the penalty box. We got a no pass, no penalty on an initial here. So onto the jam timers. Watch we go. 4 points on the board for MexiCANs. That's Pink Flamingo picking it up. One more pass around to flip the scoreboard, but Yellow Fever jammer released from the penalty box. Still on initial though, is not scoring yet. But just like that, D-Ray solves that problem through on the first scoring trip. Pink Flamingo swinging around turn 4, getting instructions to call it off, but not doing it, going to run it. D-Ray now in the back of the pack, getting knocked out of bounds and recycled back behind the jammer line. Pink Flamingo around and back into the pack for another scoring trip. D-Ray manages to escape. 4 points on the board for Yellow Fever. Yellow Fever finally manages to hang up Pink Flamingo up there in the 1-2 apex for a minute. D-Ray sliding by for another 4 points. Pink Flamingo out, also scoring 8-16 so far on the jam. 4-3 pack advantage for MexiCANs, but D-Ray didn't seem to mind. Hops over the inside line. 4 more points on the board for Yellow Fever. Right behind, though, is Pink Flamingo. Another 4 points there. We are going to end the jam, I believe. 20 points for MexiCANs on the jam. 12 points for Yellow Fever. Score 80-82. Just under 10 minutes left in the half. I want to thank all of our volunteers out here, our officials, our medics, all the people doing registration, managing volunteers. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much. Please thank a volunteer today. That's Alex Storm out of the pack first. MexiCANs with lead. Nice little apex hop over there in the inside line of 1-2 through. 4 more points on the board for MexiCANs. Going to put a little bit more space between them and Yellow Fever. Again in the air. Down on 1 foot to recover and up. 4 more points on the board. 8 on the jam. Yellow Fever jammer got hung up pretty hard by the MexiCANs blockers up there. Been recycled a couple of times, but now battling through turn 2. Little pile up in turn 2. Everybody's hopping back up. Alex Storm swinging around the outside of 2 into the straightaway. Meeting up with pretty good wall from Yellow Fever here. Trying to hold him back. Can't quite do it. Around the outside through turn 3. 4 more points on the board. This is a pretty big jam for MexiCANs here. I think we have had a successful star pass to Luna, number 112, who manages to break out of the front of the pack. Alex Storm going to call off the jam after picking up 20 points, breaking the century mark. 102 MexiCANs, 80 for Yellow Fever. 7.5 minutes left. Want to thank Roller Rag. It's a community-sourced roller skating magazine. Stop by and pick up a copy or submit a page. Effie Bomber wearing the star for MexiCANs. That's number 22, Tricky Ricardo, once again for Yellow Fever. Tricky Ricardo out first, lead jammer, Yellow Fever. Effie Bomber running away from that last blocker, that's number 80. Late Expectations, that is a great derby name. All right, Ricky Ricardo picking up 3 points. 3-0 on the jam, 83-102. MexiCANs still a pretty solid lead, but anything could happen. 6 minutes, 20 left in the game. Fresh set of jammers on the track, and nobody in the penalty box. Full packs on the track. Spider Monk 369 wearing the star for MexiCANs. And that's 495 Boulder wearing the star for Yellow Fever. Spider Monk out first after a spill to the inside. Lead jammer for Yellow Fever, but Boulder out maybe 10, 15 feet behind him. Pack moving down through the 2-3 straightaway. Going to set up down here in turn 3. Spider Monk going to the outside. Then in, gets knocked infield. Going to do a quick call off. Let's see what we got. Spider Monk manages to pull out 2, call it off before Yellow Fever can get in there. 0-2 jam for MexiCANs, 104-83. A shout out for Roller Revival. Support the Roller Revival. Stop at our booth for new roller derby graphic tees, stickers, pins, and patches. Oh, penalty on the initial trip here for MexiCANs jammer. That's Pink Flamingo. So, lead jammer goes to Yellow Fever. 30 seconds to work. No, wait a minute. All right. There we go. Jammers in the box. Power jam for Yellow Fever. Yellow Fever with lead. D-Ray got 2 left to beat up here in the straightaway between the pivot and jammer line. Going to spin around to the infield, through for 4. Pack set up, back like it was a jam start back here at the jammer line. D-Ray sliding out, then in, right through MexiCANs defense there. Nice moves. Coming around to 8 points, 91-104. MexiCANs jammer Pink Flamingo back on the track on initial here, though. D-Ray trying to tiptoe around the outside, makes it through. Third pass through. 12 points on the jam. Both teams scoring now. D-Ray leading the way first. Pink Flamingo just happy to follow his path right through the track there, picking up 4 on MexiCANs. Yellow Fever potentially going to break the 100 mark here, but the pack keeps moving forward. D-Ray's got to get in there, pick something up. Next 15 seconds, knocked to the outside, recycled almost all the way back to the jammer line. Nice work there by MexiCANs blockers, catching him, giving their jammer a chance, but he finds some room on the inside of turn 1. Through he goes. Clock's going to expire. Wait for the final here on this jam, not the game. All right, 20-8 jam in favor of Yellow Fever. 103-112. 3 minutes on the clock. .525 Effie Bomber wearing the star for MexiCANs. Let's see, we have number 112 Luna with the star now off the helmet, still in the pack over here. Effie Bomber around back into the pack on the first scoring trip. Luna still hung up, but now free coming out of turn 2. Effie Bomber thought she was out, but got caught up there. Yellow Fever got a nice 2-wall set up. Tried to force to the inside. Effie Bomber spins, follows the instructions from the bench, calls it off. 4-point pickup, 116-103, just under 2 minutes. Want to thank Always Rolling, quality stickers, patches, and the funkiest skate apparel. All designs by a skater for skaters. Check out Always Rolling. Yellow Fever out first with lead jammer. That's 333 Sweet and Sour. I think that's the first time we've seen them with the star on this game. Number 30, Alex Storm wearing the star for MexiCANs, hot on their heels. Pack moving pretty quickly around turn 4 and up the straightaway into 1 now. To spread out a little bit as the jammers enter. Alex Storm slide to the inside. 4 more points on the board for MexiCANs. Sweet and Sour up, knocked to the inside, gonna call off the jam. Looks like 3 more points there. 4-3 jam advantage. MexiCANs 106-120, under a minute on the clock. RollerCon would like to remind you to clean up after yourself. Your mom probably doesn't work here, and even if she does, don't make her work for you while you're here. .495, Boulder wearing the star for Yellow Fever. Picks up lead, but gets recycled up the infield. It's Spider Monk 369 wearing the star for MexiCANs. Also now knocked to the infield. We actually haven't had the whole pack make it past the pivot line just yet, but I think that may change here in just a moment. Boulder out lead. Both jammers on a scoring trip now. Period clock has expired. We're on the jam timer's watch now. Pack setting up at the beginning of turn 3. Both jammers in at the same time. Full packs. It's Spider Monk with some fancy footwork up the inside line. 4 more points on the board. Boulder gets knocked to the infield, recycled back behind the jammer line. He's going to try again. I think he's got 1 or 2, but Spider Monk coming around out of turn 4 now. Jam is going to get called. Final jam of the game, 4-4. That gives us a final score. Well, unofficial final. Let's give it a moment. But 110-124, MexiCANs for the win. All right, folks, and there it is. Final score on the scoreboard, 110-124. Give it up for both of these teams in a great game.
RollerCon reminds you Look at those amazing officials out there. RollerCon reminds you, thank a volunteer. That includes officials, announcers, and many, many other staff members, because without them, this wouldn't be possible.